If you are planning to apply for the GKS Undergraduate Scholarship 2023 this year, then this video is specially for you. So let's start. Hello viewers, I am Amar Dilavar and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. So finally the wait is over. Many students, they have been waiting for GKS Undergraduate 2023 for a very long time. So yesterday the NIED, they have announced the GKS 2023 for undergraduate degrees, and now you can apply for undergraduate scholarship. And many students are contacted me since last night that please guide us, how can we apply for this scholarship, what are the changes this year. So that's why I came up with the special series of videos for GKS 2023 scholarship this year. So this is the first video of this series, and in this video I will guide you that how can you download all the documents, and in this video we will read the guidelines, and you all guys, you can read the guidelines with me. I will explain all the guidelines for you guys so you can understand that what are the guidelines and what are the changes in this year. I know that many of you, they read the guidelines last night, but I would highly recommend you that if you have already read the guidelines by yourself, so please watch this video completely to avoid any mistake, because I know that GKS scholarship, it is very important for you. So in this video I will explain the guidelines, and I will tell you that how can you check the deadline for your university, and how can you check the guideline of your embassy if you are applying through embassy track. So before the start of this video, I would like to request you that please like this video, and if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So let's move toward computer screen. So before explaining the guidelines for GKS Undergraduate 2023, I would like to guide you that how can you download the application forms and application guidelines. So on the Google, you have to just write GKS notice. So it will take you to this tab. Then you have to click on this first GKS notice study in Korea. After clicking on this, you can see the notices by the GKS. So here on the top, you can see that 2023 GKS for undergraduate degrees. So you have to click on this. So here you can read all the guidelines about the GKS undergraduate scholarship like quota and all other things. And if you scroll down it at the end, you can see three files. First one is application guidelines, so you have to download application guidelines. Second one is application form, you have to download application forms also. And then the last one is GKS university information, you have to download this file also. Now on the screen you can see the 2023 Global Korea Scholarship Application Guideline for undergraduate degrees. So now I will read all these guidelines and explain all the important points for you guys. So first of all, we have to look at the eligibility criteria and program objective. So I think there is no need to explain the program objectives, they are very clear. So then we have to look at the programs and the universities. So basically GKS undergraduate have two kinds of program. First one is associate degree and the second one is bachelor's degree. So in associate degree you have to study 1 year of Korean language program plus 2 to 3 years of degree program, depends on your degree. And in bachelor's degree you have to study 1 year of Korean language program. So now we have to look at the application tracks and application quota. So this time they merged the UIC scholarship with the undergraduate scholarship. So now in embassy track we have total 81 seats, and in university track there are three different kinds. First one is UIC, which have 55 seats. Then regional universities have 49 seats, and associate degrees have 15 seats. So because of this UIC, the seats number reduced. So if you want to apply through university track, so you can also consider UIC, which is a very good option. Then we have to look at the available universities and field of studies. So all field of studies, they are offered by GKS participating universities. GKS have provided a complete list of all the universities which are participating in GKS undergraduate scholarship, and they have attached the PDF file of each university, and you can find the major relevant to your interest from that PDF file. Then you have to look at the embassy track universities. So in embassy track universities we have two universities, type A university and type B universities. So all of these universities, Aju University, Dongkuk University and Hankook University, Eva University, they are all in type A universities. Then in type B universities, we have Busan University, Chennai National University. So these all universities, they are in type B universities. So the applicants who want to apply through embassy track, they can choose 3 universities from type A and must apply to at least one of the universities listed under type B. You cannot choose all 3 universities from type A, but you can choose all 3 universities from type B. But if you want to combine these two, so then 2 universities from type A and 1 university from type B. Then in university track, we have different categories. First one is UIC, and in UIC there are only 10 universities and they have only 55 number of seats. And in regional universities, we have this Busan University, Chennai National University, Kangwon National University, and in associate degree we have only 3 universities: Kyungbuk University, Osan University and Yungjin University. So these are the universities in which you can apply if you want to apply through embassy track or if you want to apply through university track. Then most important thing is the program quota for embassy track and university track. Many students, they make mistake while calculating the quota for their country. So in embassy track there are only 74 number of seats and there are 67 countries. So for example, if your country is included in this list, then you can apply through embassy track. Otherwise you cannot apply through embassy track. So for example, students, they want to apply from Pakistan. So you can see in Pakistan they have only one general seat. So from Pakistan for embassy track there is only one seat. And students, if they want to apply from India, so they have 2 number of seats. So if you are applying from any of the countries, so just look at the number of seats for your country. Then in university track, we have UIC category in which they choose 55 scholar. But UIC track is open to all countries around the world. Like if you are applying from any country in the world, for example, if you are applying from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, so as many students they fulfill the criteria, they can be selected in these universities. For example, 5 students can be selected from India, 10 students from Bangladesh. So this UIC track is an open quota for all the countries who want to apply for GKS undergraduate scholarship. So I would highly recommend you that if you want to do your bachelor's in these majors, so you should choose UIC quota, because in UIC quota there are no number of seats. Because in embassy track you can see Pakistan have only 1 seat, but maybe in UIC track from Pakistan more than 5 candidates maybe they are selected, or from India more than 10 candidates they may be selected. So UIC is a very good option as compared to embassy track or the general university track. But in UIC there are only 8 universities and each university have specific quota and specific number of seats. Then there are 64 seats for the university track or associate degree program other than UIC. UIC is a separate which have 55 seats, and other university track they have 64 number of seats. For example, from Southeast Asia there are 11 countries and they have 23 number of seats. The total number of students from these countries who will be selected for GKS are 23. There are no fixed quota for each country. Maybe from Philippines 2 students will be selected, 3 students, 5 students, 6 students, or even there are chances that no student from Philippines will be selected. So this is a very competitive quota that you have to compete with the students from your country also and from other country also who are in your region. And in Southwest Asia there are 7 number of countries and there are total 9 seats. So in this you have to compete with candidates from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. So if you want to apply through university track, so you have to choose your region and then you have to check the number of seats which are available for your region. So the first point in the eligibility criteria is nationality. That you are not national of Korea, or your parents they must not be national of Korea. So if your parents or you have a citizenship of Korea, then you cannot apply for this scholarship. Then the level of education, bachelor's degree program is for applicants who graduated or expected to graduate from high school or from an associate degree. Like if you have completed your high school or if you have completed your associate degree, then you can apply for bachelor's degree program. But associate degree program is for those applicants who are graduated from high school. So if you have previously associate degree, then you can apply for bachelor's degree. But if you have your high school degree, then you can only apply for associate degree or bachelor's degree. And the applicants who already have bachelor's degree, they cannot apply. And applicants who have already associate degree, they can apply to bachelor's program. So this is very easy. And applicants who are expected to graduate must submit a certificate of expected graduation. And the applicants, they pass the final round of selection, they must submit a graduation certificate by February 28, 2023. So this is a very important point. For example, if you are applying on an expected graduation certificate and you think that you cannot get your final degree or final transcript by February 28, 2023, then you cannot apply for GKS this year. You have to wait till next year. And the applicants who submit their provisional graduation certificate will be considered as applicants who are expected to graduate. So what does this mean? In some countries, they give you some certificate before degree, because in many countries it will take 2, 3 or 4 years to get your final degree. So if you have only provisional certificate, then you are considered to expected to graduate. So you must have to submit your final degree till February 28, otherwise you are not eligible for this scholarship. Then the important point is regarding grades, that what is your CGPA or how much is your percentage. So your score percentile should be 80% or above on a 100-point scale, or if your percentage is less than 80%, you must be in the top 20% students of your class. So if you have top 20% student certificate from your college or from your high school, then you can apply. Otherwise, if your marks are less than 80% and you are not in the top 20%, then you cannot apply for this scholarship. And if you are graduated from a high school who use CGPA system, then your CGPA must be greater than 2.64 on 4 scale, 2.80 on 4.3 scale, 2.91 on 4.5 scale, or 3.23 on 5 scale. And one thing you must keep in your mind, that this score percentile or CGPA criteria only applies to your high school certificate. So GKS, they will only evaluate your high school certificate. They will not evaluate your middle school, secondary school or school certificates. You must submit your 11th grade or 12th grade certificates and marks. There is no need to submit your 9th grade or 10th grade, which are not included in your high school. And if an applicant, they hold a transcript that doesn't provide CGPA information, or you cannot convert your CGPA scale to 4, 4.3, 4.5, 5 or 100%, then you submit additional document which can explain your grading system. So there is no need to worry if you have different system. For example, if you have 20 grade system, 10 grade system, 15 grade system, and you are unable to convert to this system, then you take one certificate from your school which explain your grading system. And applicants who are expected to graduate, they should calculate the most recent CGPA at the time of application. For example, if you are expected to graduate from 12th grade and you have results of your 11th grade, then you have to write the marks of your 11th grade. Or if you have your marks of 10th grade, then you have to write the marks of your 10th grade. So you have to write your most recent marks of the exam. Then for age criteria, your age must be under 25 years of age. And in terms of health condition, all applicants, their health must be in good condition, both mentally and physically, to study in Korea. And after arriving in Korea, if you are tested positive for drugs or if you have some severe illness, then your scholarship will be terminated. And after first round of selection, all applicants, they go through a thorough medical by the official medical examination by some medical doctor or licensed hospital. Then there are some restrictions for the candidates. For example, a person who has graduated or is expected to graduate from a Korean high school, they are not eligible to apply. A person who graduated from an online curriculum arranged by Korean school, they cannot apply. For example, if you are studying in Korean high school, then simply you cannot apply for this scholarship. Then a person who had previously received a scholarship for a degree program from the Korean government, they are also not eligible to apply. And a previous GKS scholar who are currently or have completed graduated from GKS associate degree program, they are not eligible to apply. And a previous GKS scholar whose scholarship was cancelled, they are not also eligible to apply. Then there are some duplicate applicants. For example, some candidates, they apply through embassy track and university track, and they are selected through both track, but at the end they are not qualified for this scholarship. So you must apply to only one track. Whether you want to apply for embassy track or university track, choose only one track. And embassy track applicants, they must apply to only one program between general program and overseas Korean program. So you have to choose only general or overseas Korean option. And university track applicants must apply to only one program among UIC, regional university and associate degree program. For example, if you are applying through university track, then you can apply only through UIC or regional university or associate degree program. You cannot apply to more than one university, or you cannot apply to both UIC and regional university and associate degree program. Then there is also very important notice that applicants, they must check additional restrictions or eligibility set by each degree university. For example, if you want to apply to a specific university and they have their specific requirements, so you must fulfill that requirement. And all GKS scholars, they should receive topic level 3 to proceed to their degree program. As you know that in the GKS undergraduate scholarship, for the first year you have to study Korean language. So during the first year, if you get topic level 3, then you can start your degree program. Otherwise, you cannot start your degree program without getting topic level 3. And you also have to check your specific enrollment period, which is set by each degree university or department. Then we have to look at the application and selection procedure. For embassy track, there is first round of selection and you have to submit your documents to the embassy. Then the embassy, they recommend candidates to the NIID. Then NIID, they will evaluate the documents, and then there will be second round of selection. And after the second round of selection, there is third round of selection for embassy track candidates. That NIID, they will send their documents to the universities. So universities, they will evaluate their documents. Then there is final selection. But in university track, there are only two rounds of selection. In first round, you have to send your documents to the university, and university, they recommend the candidates to the NIID. Then NIID, they will evaluate your documents and they will announce the final candidates for this scholarship. So now we will look at the selection schedule or deadlines of this GKS scholarship. So please listen to this part very carefully because it is very important. So for embassy track, there is a separate application deadline which is set by each embassy. Later at the end of this video, I will guide you that how can you check the deadline which is set by each embassy. So embassies, they have their separate deadlines, so you have to follow the deadlines for embassy track. Then after receiving the documents by the embassy, they will announce the results by October 14 and they will conduct interviews by October 21. And they must have to submit the documents to NIID by November 4, and there may be oral interview also conducted by NIID by the late November, and the results they will announce by December 16. So the deadline for the university track, it also vary from university to university. So I will guide you that how can you check the deadline of each university, but mostly universities, their deadline is till October 21, and all the universities, they will evaluate your documents and they send the documents to NID by November 11. So after receiving your documents and NIID, university track applicants, the NIID, they will also conduct interview by early December, and after the interview they will announce the final results by late December. So what is the selection timeline? It is same, that first you have to download all the application form, then there is announcement of first round of selection, then there is application submission, then there is first round of selection for embassies and universities, then first round of selection for oral interview for embassies and universities, then the successful candidates of the first round and second round of selection, third round of selection, and the announcement of final candidates. So you have to check this selection timeline and you have to check your university deadline and embassy deadline by yourself. So then which documents they need to be submitted? So first one is application period. So each embassy and university have their own application deadline. I will guide you that how can you find the deadline. And method of submission, each embassy and university who conduct the first round of selection may have their own document submission guideline. For example, some universities, they need your online submission, and in some university you have to submit your documents by post. But mostly all the universities in Korea, they need your documents by post. But for embassy track, some embassies first they ask you to submit your documents by online, and if you are selected in first round, then they will ask you to send your documents by post. So you have to check the guidelines from your embassy and prepare accordingly. So then for the list of documents, we have application form, personal statement, study plan, one letter of recommendation, GKS application agreement form, and personal medical assessment form. Then we have some required certificates which include your proof of citizenship, and proof of citizenship both needed for applicant and for parents proof of citizenship, and proof of family relationship certificate is also needed, and for this you can use your FRC, which is family registration certificate. And for proof of citizenship you can submit your birth certificate, you can submit your passports, or you can submit your voter ID card or national identity card. Then you have to submit your high school graduation certificate or expected graduation certificate. Then you have to submit your academic transcript of high school. So academic transcript means your mark sheet which shows your marks in each subject. Then if you are applying for a bachelor's degree and you already have an associate degree, then you have to submit your graduation certificate of associate degree, transcript of associate degree, and proof of overseas Korean document if applicable, then proof of Korean citizenship document if applicable. Then here you can see that all these documents, they must be submitted with apostille or consular confirmation. So you must have to submit 3 documents by apostillation or consular confirmation. First one is your and your parents proof of citizenship. It must need apostille stamp or must be attested from Korean embassy. But if you are submitting your passport, then there is no need to apostille or attested from the Korean embassy. Then your FRC, it must be apostille or attested from the Korean embassy. Then your high school graduation certificate also need to be apostille or attested from the Korean embassy, and your transcript also needs to be apostille or attested from the Korean embassy. So if you want to know that how can you apostille your documents or attest the documents from Korean embassy in your country, I have a separate video on this topic, so you can access the video from I button, and I have also attached the video in the description box. Then there are some additional documents if you have TOPIK or IELTS, if you have any award or certificates, and if you have passport, then these are optional documents. If you have, you can submit, otherwise you can submit them later. Then what are the documents which are needed for first round of selection for embassy track or university track? So mostly all the documents are same, but some embassies or some universities, they have their specific requirement that I have told you earlier. For example, Indian embassy last year they asked because of COVID that first submit your documents through online, and if you are selected, then you have to submit your documents through hard copies. So you have to follow the guidelines which are set by your university or your embassy. Then for the second round of selection, the documents which are submitted to NIID. So if you have already submitted your documents to the university or embassy, then there is no need to submit your documents again. So all of your documents, they must be filled in English or Korean with applicant's originally handwritten signature, and all the documents, for example form number 1 to form number 6, there is no need to apostille or consular confirmation. And for embassy track, you have to submit 1 original document and 3 simple photocopies, and for university track you have to submit 1 original document. And for your required certificates, as you see here that there are some certificates which are needed for the GKS scholarship. So all these certificates, they must be attested from the Korean embassy or they must be apostilled. And one point is very important, that if your documents they are unable to reissue, please keep the original with your one and obtain a apostilled or consular confirmation on a copy and then submit that copy. Never submit your original documents if you cannot get the second original documents, because all the applications submitted to NIID will not be returned in any case less than 5 years. And this second point is also very important, that simple photocopies or notarized copies of the apostilled documents, they are not accepted. So what does this mean? For example, if you have your apostille stamp or consular confirmation stamp on the original copy and you make photocopy of that document, then that photocopy is not accepted. So then what you have to do? You have to make a photocopy of the original document and then take a consular confirmation stamp or apostille stamp on that photocopy and then submit that photocopy, and that photocopy is acceptable. If you make the photocopy of the original and photocopy have no stamps, then that photocopy is not acceptable. And in some countries there is an expiration date on apostille or consular confirmed documents, then the validity of document will be judged based on the date indicated on the authentication. And if there is no specific date indicated, and document will only be accepted if it was submitted submitted within 2 years from the date of consular confirmation authentication. For example, if you tested your documents from the Korean embassy more than 2 years ago, then your documents are not acceptable. You need to get the stamps from the Korean embassy or from apostille within 2 years. And if some university they require additional documents, then the applicant they must submit those documents directly to the university. Then these are the document submission requirements for the second round of selection at NIID. So this is same like if you submit your documents in the first round, then there is no need to submit your documents in the second round, but your documents they must be attested from the Korean embassy or they must be apostille. So if you are selected in the first round, so your university or embassy they will directly submit documents by themselves to the NIED. Then there are some things which you need to keep in your mind when submitting application documents. Applicants they must put the official name of the university in which they are applying, and you can get the official name of the university from the university file list. And applicants English name must match the name on their passport, and application documents they must be submitted in the order of application checklist, like you have to make the numbering same as in the checklist. For example, if there is 8 number for high school graduation certificate, so your graduation certificate must be on the 8th number, not on the top, and you have to label each document on the top right corner. And for the embassy track applicants they can choose 3 universities. University track applicants they can choose only 1 university. And what are the main points of evaluation? There is review of qualification and review of competency. Like they will check your academic grades, your citizenship, your level of education, and they will check your statement of purpose, study plan, or they will conduct your oral interview. And the additional points, applicants who hold the topic level 3 or above, they will get additional points like 10% of the total points. And the direct descendants of the Korean War who participated in the Korean War as a foreign military, they will get also additional 5% of the total points. And there are some applicants who get some preference, for example overseas Korean, applicants from low income families, applicants who submit a high score of English proficiency test, and applicants who apply to natural science and engineering department in a regional university. And for associate degrees, the applicants who are winner of national level competition on technical skills, they will get some preference. And for medical assessment form, now there is no need to submit medical assessment form. If you are selected in the first round, then there is need to submit medical assessment form. And the final announcement of the candidates will be announced in the late December. And if you are selected in the final round, the NIID they will send you invitation letter and they will guide you that how can you enter into Korea. So at the end, the most important thing are the scholarship benefits. That what are the scholarship benefits? So it is a fully funded scholarship. You can get airfare, settlement allowance, monthly allowance, Korean proficiency grants, degree grants, medical insurance, language training fee. So you can take a look at the scholarship benefits. And at the end, they have mentioned the contact information for the Korean universities and the contact information for the NIED. So for Korean universities, they have a separate file from where you can check the Korean university information and the address where you have to submit your documents. And if you have any question regarding the GKS scholarship, then you can also contact the NIED on their email address. So these are the contact information of Korean embassies. For example, if you want to know the deadline of the Korean embassy in your country, so then these are the phone numbers and email address of the Korean embassy, and you can also check the website of Korean embassy in your country to check the deadlines. So I hope that you can understand all the guidelines. So now I will guide you that how can you check the deadline of each university and how can you check the deadline of the Korean embassy in your country. So now I will guide you that how can you check the deadline of each university if you want to apply through university track. So on the screen you can see the list of universities those are participating in the GKS undergraduate scholarship. So you can see the Aju University, Busan University, Channam National University, Daejeon University, Dongso University. So here is a list of all the universities, and if you want to apply in any of the university, you just have to click on the university. For example, I want to apply in the Dongso University, so just click on the Dongso University. Then you can see the information about the Dongso University. The first two files, they are Excel file, and the first file is about the contact of university staff, and the second file is about the available departments and majors for the undergraduate degree, and third one is the PDF file for the Dongso University. And if you click on the PDF file of the Dongso University, so this file will open. So this file have information in both Korean language and in English language, and I know that most of the candidates, they don't know Korean language, so please skip the Korean language information portion and scroll down to the English language information. So on the English language information, you can find all the information about this university, and you can also check the departments which are available in GKS undergraduate scholarship at Dongso University, and you can also check the deadline for this scholarship. So for the Dongso University, the deadline is October 26th. So your documents must reach at the Dongso University before October 26. And where you have to submit your documents, so this is the address for sending your hard copy of documents. There is no online application for Dongso University, so you have to submit your documents to this address, International Exchange Center, Dongso University, and write this address, and then your documents, they will reach to the Dongso University. But keep one thing in your mind, that the deadline of each university, it varies, so you have to check the deadline of each university from university information file. Now some students, they want to apply through embassy track. So how can you check the deadline of embassy track? So you have to go to the embassy website of your country. For example, if you want to apply from Pakistan, then you have to open the embassy of Korea in Pakistan. And if you want to apply from India, then you have to open the embassy of Korea in India. Then you have to go to the news section. So in the news section, as you know that GKS, it was announced yesterday by the NIED. So the embassies, they didn't post the information about GKS now. So it will take 2 to 3 days to post the information on their website. So there is no deadline information on the website now. But you can see in the notice section that there are deadlines for the previous years. So don't get confused, don't be panic. All the embassies, they will post all the information about the GKS by the end of this week or by the start of next week. So please wait patiently for the deadline of the embassy track in your country, and keep following the website of Korean embassy in your country, or you can also contact the Korean embassy in your country through phone call or by email to know about the deadline of GKS. So students, these are the guidelines for GKS scholarship, and I hope that I have explained all the important points in the GKS guidelines, and now you understand all the guidelines completely. So please read guidelines again and again, and I would like to suggest you that please read the university information file many times, and visit the university website in which you are interested to apply, because you can get a lot of information from the university information file and university website. So in the next video, I will guide you that how can you fill the application forms. So please keep following me. Don't be panic. I will provide you all the information which is necessary for the GKS 2023. So if you have any question regarding this video, please leave in the comment section. See you in next video. Take care. Allah Hafiz.